Dear Reddit, anyone have a secret sex life? I have a secret from my wife and I know it is cheating and partly sexual. I love to swim. I swim laps with this beautiful girl. She is married and my wife does not know about it. We swim for an hour, a few times a week. I met her at the pool. One day I was swimming by myself, wishing a cute girl would show up to swim with me. Okay, I wished that lots of days. But one day she really did show up. And she kept making a point of showing up when I swam. We swim like two porpoises together, sometimes side by side. I pass her and we swim together for a few seconds. We are both sleek and strong. We know where each other is in the water. It has been going on like this for months now. I think about swimming with her when I am falling asleep. We will never have sex or anything, but I am addicted to this relationship. We do not talk about it, except to find out when we will meet again at the pool. I do not want it to end. That could be a really beautiful short story. I watch her body glide through the waves as I try to catch up to her. I know I will never catch up. There is too much holding me back. Wait, you know what? Duck this. If you want a beautiful short story, then read the ducking comment. It is already there. It even has imagery like porpoises and shit. I am a ducking storyteller, not a plagiarist. So here is my story. She walked up to me as I was drying off. I remember a feeling welling up in my stomach as she came closer, as if I were a schoolboy with a crush. You are married. Get a grip. You love your wife. It is never going to happen. She stood just a meter away and hesitated. For so long we had been swimming together, never saying a word. I did not even know what her voice sounded like. She was the forbidden, the look but do not touch. There is something you need to know. The feeling increased. Every second felt like an hour as I blankly waited for her to continue. It took what seemed like an eternity before she spoke again. I think you should know. I piss in the pool. She turned around and left without another word. When she was gone, I said out loud to the empty room exactly what I was thinking. Hot. Wow, I have never bothered to create a throwaway ID before, but this be the time. My boyfriend and I go to swing clubs and have sex with other people. I am bi, so this is my chance to get some pussy, and he likes to watch me do whatever with whoever. He also videotapes us having sex and puts the videos out on Adult Friend Finder. You cannot see my face, but everything else is right out there. Our toy box is quite extensive, so if anything ever happened and our relatives had to come in and clean out our house, they did get quite the surprise. We are both mild-mannered, homely Jewish computer nerds. No one in our day-to-day lives has the slightest clue that we do this kind of stuff. My wife and I had quite a wild secret sex life. We were in the BDSM scene for many years. It was very much like the movie Fashionistas with Belladonna and Rocco Siffredi. We belonged to a private dungeon club. She wore my collar, knelt at my feet in underbust corsets and boots. I would strip her at the club and practice sensual forms of torture in front of a crowd. She took up fetish modeling and made lots of naughty pictures with many photographers. This all sounds like every man's kinky dream. But in the end, what started as a diversion and escalated into a lifestyle, built very dysfunctional ways of being intimate. If you play the roles long enough and deeply enough, they take on a truth or reality of their own, and the loving and intimate foundation of your relationship will suffer. So, if you are starting down the road of a secret sex life, keep it as an occasional diversion. Enjoy conventional intimacy as well, and spare yourselves a whole lot of crap you will need to recover from later. I would not detail the long story that got my wife and I here, but we decided some years ago, been together for 14 years, that if the other person found themselves attracted to someone else, it was okay. That does not mean it is okay for me to cruise bars looking for a pickup. We call it a conservatively open relationship. It really has upheld our sex life. There is nothing like knowing you are kind of back in the game when out and about. For both of us, you dress better, keep yourself in shape, and just think about sex more. Only my wife has found the right opportunity and went off for a night with a guy she met through work. That was hard, I will say, even though we had been talking about her and him in detail for 6 months. But I am still really glad we did it, and I have had fun as well. I have got one woman who is willing, but not really what I am looking for, and had a summer flirtation with a woman who got busted by her husband before anything too serious happened. Regardless, it has helped keep our sex life rocking. After 15 years it has only gotten better each year for the past 6 years or so, and we have a 3-year-old. I had a very similar experience, almost hooking up with a MILF, really raised my self-esteem and fired up the sex life, with the wife, 12 years marriage, couple of kids, blah blah blah. I used to have a secret sex life no one knew about except a couple of my closest friends. Basically, I was an internet sex predator. My tool of choice was Craigslist. I was a man whore. I slept with so much women. At one point I was starting to get worried at the limits of my own debauchery. Mind you, this was not casual encounters or prostitution services that I was hitting up, just laying it to every woman that would let me. I would have sex on the first or second dates usually half the time, usually sleeping with 2-3 different women around the same time. Once, I slept with 3 different women in one day, not using condoms for majority of the women, sleeping with married women, videotaping my exploits, treating some of them like sex objects by telling them I was sleeping with other women or cajoling them to go to orgies or have threesomes. I have even met a married woman from Seattle at a bar, and we ended up ducking in the toilet room downstairs. I realized after 3-4 years of doing this that I was a sex addict. I can see a lot of myself in that Tiger Woods guy. He is pretty much a sex addict. I was deplorable. And if I could take back all that shit I did, I would. All these women I betted wanted a real relationship, and I preyed on that. I am married now, but those scars ain't going away. My sex life is shot, because my pervert instincts are still there. I still get tempted by going online and finding random women to talk to, but it never gets beyond that. The guilt of actually cheating on my wife would be devastating, but I have had many upsets too, and my mind and heart is constantly fighting my cock to prevent it from winning. Man, right now I even have a girl that is willing to meet me at a hot spring in California where they go full Monty. She does not know I am married, but she is highly sexual and not looking for a full-on relationship. Goddamn my pervert ass. Yes, I am a 26-year-old man, and I am in a gay relationship with 2 different men who are older than 50. Well, they are actually both close to 60 years old. Both of them know about the other, but no one else in my family knows I am gay, or that I am meeting guys close to the age of my father regularly, for sex. I like them both a lot, not sure if I would call it love exactly, but I care about them both deeply. I still live with my parents and I regularly go out late at night to meet them. If my parents ask me where I am going, I tell them I am going out, and if they ask again, I tell them again I am going out. They eventually learned not to question where I am going at night. I do not know what they think I do at night, but I do not think they would suspect I am meeting my 30 years older than me boyfriend, duck buddy, whatever. We are more than just duck buddies, though. There are a lot of feelings involved and it is complicated. We have massively gay sex which I doubt you would like to hear the details of, but rest assured, it is great, beautiful sex. It is my secret, and I guess I am sharing it now on my alternative account. I sort of do. For some reason, 80% of my sex partners are friends, and as casual sex between friends is usually kept secret. Hardly anybody knows I even get action regularly. I am a bisexual male, which significantly increases my pool of possible partners, and I am much better at picking up guys than girls. However, somehow this has only blown up in my face once after becoming sexually active about 3 years ago. I am 20 now and we got over it quickly. I did manage to have sex with 4 out of 5 of a group of close friends who were also my friends, but they all had known each other for a long time before they ever met me, before any of them found out that I had had sex with any other of them. The only holdout was the straight guy in the bunch. The rest were a bisexual girl, a straight girl, and 2 gay guys. That was pretty interesting. Surprisingly, it never made anything awkward. Now everyone in the group just thinks I am some kind of Casanova. Background: I am a gay guy in my early 20s. I act pretty masculine so no one can really tell. I guess if you were to pigeonhole me, I did fit the twink slot. This happened a few years ago when I was in undergrad. I took a graduate level class for fun, and had the hots for a dude in my class. He was about 5'9", 150 pounds, dark hair, very scruffy, totally my type. but I thought he was straight and off limits. During senior year 1 had to take one of my last prerequisite classes to graduate. Guess who the top for the class was? Him. The semester went on and I did have perpetual wooden lecture. The poor guy did not realize I was basically undressing him with my eyes every day. Since we were familiar strangers from the class we had taken together prior, we somehow started chatting outside of class on AIM. One day he IM'd me and asked if I could go over to help him with some computer stuff. Holy duck. Yes, he lived in the dorm a few minutes away, so it was a short walk. I got to his dorm room. He invited me and closed the door, unusual because most guys on that floor just leave their doors open. I messed around with his computer for a bit and then we just chilled for a while, talking about random shit. Eventually we started talking about chicks, and he asked me if I had a GF. I was surprised at the question and kind of paused too long before responding. I think he got the hint and got this wicked grin on his face. I was speechless at this point. He leaned in and kissed me. We eventually ended up on his bed. Long story short, we messed around the way guys do with one another for the rest of my senior year. He also had girlfriends on and off during that time, but I did not really want to know the details about that part of his life. We lost touch eventually, but I think he is engaged to some girl now. The fling with the Ta was a nice send-off from university because my fantasy came true after all. I have a secret sex life. My now ex-BF and I used to engage in anal sex, for both him and myself. No one would have guessed that he was into that. He has a very loud, outgoing, alpha personality, but when I got him behind closed doors, it was all about turning him into my little bitch until he came. He moved away, but we are still great friends. After he left, he hooked me up with a guy he messed around with on several occasions. The guy is a very young, painfully attractive professor at a university a few blocks from my house. He and I have been talking online lately and have plans to meet up and screw each other all over his office. No one knows. No one will know. I have been so busy with work, personal life and finals that I have not bothered to establish physical relationships with anyone. It has been so long, I cannot wait. This man would not know what hit him. I am a cheater. I am married to the most wonderful girl on the planet and I live a double life like no other. I sleep with a different girl almost every month. I have a nice job, travel to different teaching institutions giving lectures, make lots of money. I am in very good shape. I do some crazy ass sports, love to dance, and have a foreign accent. Women love those things and is fairly easy for me to hook up. Normally my flirts last 1 WK, and I have 2 mistresses that are cool with me, been married, just like Tiger would. Always use protection and get tested every month when I donate blood or every other month. I know I am horrible for doing this. Where I come, if you sleep with lots of girls, especially uptown girls, you are considered the alpha male. I started this double life as a teenager and cannot stop now. I am addicted to the hunting, not the sex. Many times I stop after getting a kiss, but normally after the kiss girls want to sleep with me. I have 2 cell phones, 2 Facebook webpage, 2 emails, 2 of everything. The worst part is I am not looking for excuses. I am happy doing this. Is natural for me now and I love it. The main reason why I move so fast in my profession is because it's easy to travel a lot when you reach my level of education. That way I can meet someone new in a different city. I do not care about what I teach. I publish my papers just to be in the teaching circle and get invited to places. I live a pretty boring and staid life now, but during my first engagement, which did not end in marriage, and my first marriage I am on my second, I had a ton of affairs. Most notably with a manic depressive female public broadcasting executive from California who flew to the East Coast to duck me. She was 14 years older than me, still very hot, and the only woman I have ever met who made it clear that she loved anal. All that sounds awesome until you factor in the bipolar part, which made it ultimately pretty ducking scary. So I am happy in my marriage now and have never fooled around, but my best friend recently started some shit with a woman that I fear is gonna get his sorry ass killed. More than that, when he introduced me to his thing on the side, he is married with 3 kids, and so is his other woman. I got a distinct feeling she would be down for a 3-way and nothing flat. I did like to say that happened. I certainly thought about it, but it did not, because I seem to fall on the more ethical side of decisions as I age, and because unlike my buddy I actually love my wife. Also, no matter how open I might be to such a thing in my imagination, in reality this guy is like a brother, and I never had any desire to see either him or my brother ducking anybody. But my buddy has done crazy shit like this. His fling's husband was out of town, but she had her son at home, so she told my pal when they did be at a mall and gave him a spare key to her car. He parked while they were inside and climbed into the trunk of the freaking car. She drove to her house, parked in the garage. She got her kid squared away with a game in the living room and then let my buddy out of the trunk. They proceeded to go up to her bedroom and bawl like crazy for as long as they could get away with it. He then snuck out, returned to the trunk, and she, with her kid as passenger again, drove him back to the same parking lot. I laughed upon hearing about it because I pictured her husband coming home unexpectedly and my buddy running down the street naked with his clothes in hand as banjos played in the background. But in reality it was one of the nuttier things I have ever heard of. Made me feel glad to be boring and stayed. After all, I am not sure how crazy or weird this is, but it is totally weird to me. I have currently been on a home-wrecking streak, as I have been hooking up with 2 girls now who both have boyfriends. I care about them both a great deal, and they are both dissatisfied with their relationships in some capacity, otherwise I would not be wanted necessary. But neither of the boys know what is up. It got really weird and a little bit emotionally devastating when one of the girls and I had a mishap and she ended up pregnant. It was unfortunately taken care of due to some extenuating health circumstances, but absolutely no one on her end knew about it. The boyfriend to this day still thinks she was having a depressed stent and had gained a bit of weight. Both girls are aware of each other, however they have never met, and both are aware that if they end up single I did date them legitimately in a heartbeat. First come first served. However, the awkward part is that I have met both of their boyfriends and most of their friends and family, and sometimes I just want to shout to them, I am currently ducking this person. Did not expect that. 1didu. Too long didn't he read hooking up with girls who have boyfriends. Kinda strange. I used to go to college by bus. It went from the suburbs to the university at 7:30 am. It was usually fairly crowded. There is hardly place to even stand, but since I got on early I got a seat. Most of the people in the bus were students, some of them hot chicks. This story is not about one of them. Anyway, one morning, this chick 3'5" stands next to me in the damn crowded bus, and I notice she is rubbing her crotch on my shoulder. It was strangely arousing. I did look at her, just enjoyed it. Cut to the next day. Same thing happens. She manages to come and stand exactly where I am sitting, and while I am chatting with my buddy who is sitting next to me, there is this chick rubbing away at my shoulder. Sigh. I miss college. Yep, my girlfriend and I are both Christians and have mostly Christian friends where pretty much it is abstinence only. However, we have a very active and kinky sex life and no one else knows it. Both of us are into pretty much everything, doing it in public, BDSM, bondage, role-playing, sex toys, public but not getting caught sex, all kinds of stuff. She actually just told me the other day that she is into girls and wants to someday hook up with one on the side and also turn that into a threesome with me. She says she is not bi but really is turned on by the idea of doing another girl. I do not care if she is or is not. It turns me on like you would not believe. I ended up telling her that I would actually love it if she had a girlfriend on the side. It would turn me on a ton. This led to us deciding someday we will try group sex foursomes, stuff like that. So yeah, we are a freaky couple but no one else knows it. Our friends would not look down upon us or anything. They are not those type of crazy Southern Baptist Christians, but we would rather not anyone find out until after we are married just because it would be easier that way. We also kinda like it being our little secret that we are freaks in bed but vanilla outside. Too long didn't he read my girlfriend and I are Christians and so assumed to be abstaining from sex until marriage but secretly have a really kinky sex life. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.